Hi everyone, this is Jim. Welcome to this Blitz chess postmortem video. This is a postmortem of my Blitz chess game number 124, where I was trying out the Reti opening for the first time in this series. I haven't played it much myself in other Blitz games. I tried it out in a few Blitz games and then I thought I would venture it here. But I was inspired by Chess Explained, who plays this fairly often in his Blitz games. So I thought, why not try it? Another way of getting some variety. I was trying the English for a while, but those positions I got into typically seemed kind of dull and similar. So so I was trying something different and hopefully leading to some new positions for me. So it's interesting to see knight f3 is the third choice here after e4 and d4, the top two. I was expecting c4 to be in third place, knight f3 and fourth, but it looks like knight f3 is slightly more popular. But you'll see after d5, the second choice here, the most common response here is d4, which just transposes back into a queen's pawn opening. And it's really g3 here, where we stay into Reti opening territory. So the most common response here, knight f6. Other ideas are c6, which makes a lot of sense to me, putting up a wall of pawns to counteract the bishop on g2. E6 is logical too, though, shoring up the center, just not the most common move. Bishop g2. Let's see what. C4 could be played here, I guess. And d4 getting back into queen's pawn territory, which I think you do in a lot of cases. But I'm continuing in ready lines with bishop g2. And now, if we look at this, it's just going to let me, will let me scroll up. Okay, and again, knight f6 is the most common response. And also c5, just constructing a big center. What he played was knight c6. And we're just out of the opening book after that. And I don't think that's the best move. I think it's better to play c5 before you get the knight out. Just try and get more center influence. Although you see the chess engine, if we back up a step. The engine prefers knight f6 to knight c6. Or c5, yeah. So not quite as precise, but the evaluation is not that different too. So anyway, after d3, what's it say I should have tried there? It says I should play d4. Again, I'm trying to stay out of purely queen's pawn territory and do something sort of unique to the Reti. So I was going to set up this line of pawns here on light squares and try and emphasize the power of the light squared bishop. That was my thinking at this point. And we continue along in pretty normal moves. And this plan, I guess, is pretty much gives equality to black. It gives a slight edge to white here if the computer thinks about it long enough. But it's not a real challenging plan where you're just trying to grab the center right away. You're going for kind of a slower development. And allowing this capture here appears to be okay. I was wondering whether it was good or bad to open up the D file. The chess engine didn't seem to find a problem with it. And then just shoring up my pawn there and developing my pieces. So up until this point, so right here, just white has that typical slight opening edge. Bishop e7, the engine did not approve of. And I played queen c2. So just getting off the D file and preparing to occupy that file with the rook. And that starts to give some significant advantage to white. So, and it doesn't look like there's any good way for black to contest the D file after this. So, if we back up here, what's the chess engine recommend as an alternative? Just e5. Yeah, I was thinking e5 was possible here, opening up a diagonal for his light squared bishop. Queen e7, rook b8. Okay, so different ideas here, but definitely avoiding this bishop e7, the chess engine prefers. So I get off to the c file, and then I can bring my rook over here. But I notice when he's attacking my queen that he's going to have to recapture with his queen. And you see the chess engine got very excited when it saw that move. I can take, and his queen just has to recapture, and then it's right in the middle of this discovery. So then it's just a question of where's the best discovery? And knight d5 is the top choice, but knight e4 is also good. But this knight d5, I've seen this in tactics quizzes a lot. This bishop is cutting off this diagonal. The knight cuts off the queen's escape to the back. There's usually no squares to go to in the going forward. So that leaves just this side and this diagonal. So I was thinking I was going to win the bishop for a while. I neglected the fact that the queen could just go to c5, which is basically the only move here that holds on to the bishop. Yeah, the queen wouldn't have been trapped anyway, even if these pawn squares were covered, because he could escape this way. But it's important that the queen stay in contact with that bishop so he doesn't drop a piece. And so then I was wondering about b4. I almost played it. But I saw after b4. Here, let's show that. The queen goes to d6 to stay in touch with the bishop. Play there, c5. Queen drops back to d8. And then it says just knight e3, but it also likes knight e7 check. It's weird that it thinks knight e3 is so good. Knight e3, knight d5, and knight takes, e takes. Yeah, maybe it's just a good pawn structure. For me, I do have these advanced pawns, but it's hard for me to see that that's really worth the whole pawn. I haven't gained any material, so I'm not sure why the engine reads this as a one-pawn advantage. I have to take, or it's important to take because then my b pawn is hanging here. Let's play forward one or two moves. E takes. Maybe it will become clear if I play enough moves. Rook a d1 or rook f d1. Well, again, the d file is important. I thought he would just play c6 there. c6, e4. So, okay. So I've got this pawn pinned and now I can attack it. So I guess that's the sort of long-term plan. So a little bit hard to see that far ahead when you're playing. So, but I did think about playing b4. Sometimes it's good to chase the queen around, but you got to check if you have the time, see if it's chasing it somewhere better or worse, and that wasn't clear to me. So I just went in and took the bishop, which is one of the reasonable choices there. Preserves an advantage for white. And it's interesting, the chess engine thinks I should just trade. I was just waiting and letting him trade if he insisted. But if he takes, because if he takes, then I get a pawn here. But if I take, he gets a queen there. But I guess I can always bring my rook to d1. Yeah, rook takes d8, queen takes d8, rook d1, and I still own the d file. Okay, I went to d3 and then doubled rooks, and now he exchanged. And so I maintain ownership of that d file. And it recognizes this bishop d7 move as his next mistake. It thinks he should play e5 again. And that blocks this bishop and gives a nice diagonal for his light squared bishop to develop on. So, but he didn't do that. He played bishop d7, and now there's a neat tactic involving the overworked queen. So this was also played in the game. I guess that's why I'm leaving the chess engine on, because all the cool tactics were already played in the game. Except for one, I think I'll show you later on. It's not a tactic exactly, one defensive resource. But the point is, after I take, the queen can't take back because it's needed to defend the bishop, so he has to take with the pawn. And then this is loose. You got two loose pieces here. The pawn is loose because it's undefended. The bishop is loose because it's already attacked once and it's only defended once. So a single move, queen d2, is a double attack on both the pawn and the bishop. And unfortunately, so if he had moved the bishop to e8, would have been the best choice. I'm up material and his king side is ruined, so this should be a winning advantage for me. But the game would have gone on longer than it did. He just ignored the fact that his bishop was under attack and played king g7. So, okay, so I'm just winning from here on out, so there's not too much interest. You just have to not open yourself up to any cheap shots like this queen e1 check. You have to make sure you've got a defense for it, and bishop f1. And so here's another tactic. This e6 pawn is hanging, so I played queen takes e6 here. And because of the f7 pawn being pinned. So he tried rook f8. I went to queen g4 check. Let's see, there's something better there, right? Bishop d5. Huh. I was afraid of moving my bishop. I didn't want to go undefended here. So I was going after these weakened pawns on the king side there. And, oh no, that's another interesting one. Rook takes c7. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Why not just grab bishop e4 again? I guess because with the bishop out, you have more dangerous mating threats, and then the king can use g2 as a hiding hole to escape from the checks. So, okay, that would have been the most effective way to play it. But this preserves the winning advantage all through here. And at some point, we have a nice mating net for the king. So there's a mate in 12 here, starting with the move king g8, which he played, only move. And now I have to play rook f4, which is an interesting way of playing it. I thought I was just winning with this move queen g5 check. And so this is the tactic I wanted to show you. After here, my plan was to play rook h6 and just come down here and mate him. But he has the defense queen a1, which is kind of cool, because the queen from the other side of the board defends the a1 square. It defends the h8 square. From a1, it defends the h8 square. So that would have made my job a little more difficult, but you can see it's still winning. Anyway, the way he played it allowed this nice finish. So there's a mate in 2 here with rook h8 check and queen d5 check. This is like the epaulette mate, but with the rook guarding the escape on the back rank. The epaulettes are shoulder decorations. The pawn and the rook are the shoulder decorations to the queen, to the king, and the queen gives the check and guards the escape squares in front of the epaulettes, and the rook is guarding the escape squares behind it. So nice mating pattern there. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I wanted to say I am glad to be back at my desk and making these videos again. So hopefully I'll get back into the swing, start making them regularly now. So if you have any comments, leave them in the section below, and I'll see you again later. Bye.